Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I want you to pause for a moment before I say anything else. Just pause, take a breath, because in the rush of our daily lives, the alarms, the traffic, the deadlines, the phone notifications, we rarely stop to ask ourselves the one question that matters more than any other. Why am I here? Not why am I in this room? Not why am I at this job? Not why am I in this city, but why am I here? On this earth, breathing this breath, living this life. It's strange, isn't it? We plan our weddings for months. We plan our careers for years. Some of us plan our vacations down to the last detail, which restaurant, which hotel, which day to visit which place. And yet, how many of us have sat down and asked, what is the plan for my life? Not my life schedule, my life's purpose. Today, I want us to sit with that question together, not as a lecture, not as a list of rules, but as a conversation between people who are all trying to figure out the same thing, how to live a life that means something, a life that will not be wasted, a life that we will not regret when we stand before our Lord. So settle in, let's talk about purpose. Have you ever noticed that no matter how much a person achieves, there's still a restlessness inside them? You get the job you wanted, and within a few months, you're already thinking about the next promotion. You get the house, and soon you're thinking about a bigger one. You get married, and life brings its own new set of worries. This restlessness is not a flaw in you. It is a sign. It is a built-in signal that says you were not created for this world to be your final destination. And you were not created just to eat, sleep, work, and repeat. There is something more. Think about the people who seem to have it all by worldly standards. Fame, wealth, beauty, power, and yet you hear about them struggling with emptiness, with anxiety, with a sense that something is missing. This is not a coincidence. It is proof that the human heart was not built to be satisfied by things alone. It was built to be satisfied by connection to its creator. Allah did not create us and leave us guessing. He did not create this intricate universe, this incredible design of the human body, the perfect balance of nature, and then say, figure out your own purpose. No, he told us clearly. He created us to know him, to worship him, and to live in a way that reflects gratitude for the gift of life itself. Worship here does not just mean prayer 5 times a day, though that is central. Worship means every good deed done with the right intention. It means kindness to your parents. It means honesty in your business. It means smiling at a stranger. It means raising your children with patience. All of this, when done sincerely for the sake of Allah, becomes part of your purpose. Here is something we must untangle because so many of us have confused two very different things: purpose and success. Success, as the world defines it, is often about money, status, followers, and applause. Purpose is about meaning. And here's the tragedy: you can have tremendous worldly success and zero purpose. You can be famous and completely empty inside. You can be wealthy and spiritually bankrupt. On the other hand, you can be a person of very little means, a person who cleans the streets, a person who has no social media following, a person nobody writes articles about, and yet be living the most purposeful life imaginable. Because every single day, they wake up conscious of their Creator. They treat people with kindness. They are patient with what they've been given, and they strive to please Allah in the small corners of their ordinary life. Purpose is not about the size of your stage. It is about the sincerity of your heart. I want you to remember this the next time you compare your life to someone else's highlight reel. The people you're comparing yourself to are not necessarily living a life of purpose just because they look successful. And you are not necessarily living a purposeless life just because your circumstances are modest. Allah does not judge us by our bank balance. He judges us by our intentions and our efforts. One of the biggest traps we fall into is believing we have unlimited time to start living purposefully. We tell ourselves, once I finish my studies, I'll focus on my faith. Once I get married, I'll become more consistent. Once I retire, I'll spend more time in worship. Once. But brothers and sisters, none of us are promised the once. None of us know if we will see tomorrow's sunrise. This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Death does not wait for convenient timing. It does not check your calendar. It does not ask if you finished your to-do list. This is why the wisest people are those who treat today as if it might be their last opportunity to do something good, not out of fear, but out of love and urgency, not procrastinating their prayers, not procrastinating reconciliation with a family member they're upset with, not procrastinating that apology they owe someone, not procrastinating that charity they've been meaning to give. Purpose is not a future project. It is a present responsibility. Ask yourself honestly, if my life ended today, would I be content with how I used my time, my words, my wealth, and my relationships? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, that discomfort is a gift. It is a nudge from your own soul telling you there's still time to change course. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's a beautiful message, but what does purpose actually look like for me specifically? Here is something comforting. Allah did not create everyone to serve the same function. The teacher has a purpose in shaping young minds with sincerity. The doctor has a purpose in healing bodies with compassion and mentioning Allah's mercy through their skill. The parent raising children has one of the greatest purposes of all, shaping the next generation's character. The person struggling with an illness, showing patience and gratitude in the face of hardship, is fulfilling a purpose too, even if they never leave their bed. You do not need to become a scholar or a public speaker to live a life of purpose. Your purpose might be quiet. It might be raising righteous children who never make the news, but who grow up to be kind. Honest, God-conscious people. Your purpose might be in a small business run with honesty in a world full of dishonesty. Your purpose might be simply being the one relative who checks on the elderly, who visits the sick, who never gossips, who forgives easily. Do not underestimate the small, consistent good. The creator of the universe does not measure our worth by how loudly the world applauds us. He measures it by the sincerity behind our actions, however small they may seem. I want to be honest with you about something. A life of purpose is not always a comfortable life. In fact, often the more purposeful your life becomes, the more tests you may face. Why? Because ease can make us forgetful, while struggle often draws us closer to our Creator. Every hardship you face, financial difficulty, health issues, relationship struggles, loss of a loved one, is not a sign that you've been abandoned. It is often a sign that you are being shaped, refined, and strengthened. Think of gold. It does not become pure and valuable without going through fire. Think of a seed. It does not become a tree without first being buried in darkness, seemingly forgotten, before it breaks through the soil. Your struggles are not proof of a purposeless life. Often they are the very training ground for the purpose you are meant to fulfill. The person who overcame addiction often becomes the one who helps others overcome it. The person who suffered a great loss often becomes the source of comfort for someone else going through the same. Your pain, when handled with patience and faith, is rarely wasted. It is usually repurposed. So if you are going through something difficult right now, I want you to hear this clearly. This is not the end of your story. This is a chapter. And chapters, no matter how dark, are not the whole book. Let's bring this all together by thinking for a moment about the end. One day, every single one of us, every person listening to these words right now, will leave this world. Our wealth will stay behind. Our titles will stay behind. Our social media followers will stay behind. Our house, our car, our achievements, all of it stays behind. What comes with us are only three things: our good deeds, the knowledge we passed on that continues benefiting others, and children or people we raised or influenced who continue to make sincere supplication for us. This is the real return on investment of a purposeful life. Not the applause of today, but the weight of good on the scale of tomorrow. So when you're deciding how to spend your evening, scrolling endlessly or calling your mother, remember the scale. When you're deciding whether to gossip or stay silent, remember the scale. When you're deciding whether to give in charity or hold back out of fear of lacking, remember the scale. Every choice, every single day is quietly being weighed. This is not meant to make you anxious. It is meant to make you intentional. A purposeful life is simply an intentional life. One where you occasionally pause, as we did at the beginning of this talk, and ask, is this action bringing me closer to my purpose or further from it? Brothers and sisters, let me bring this to a close. The purpose of life is not a mystery reserved for philosophers. It has been placed in front of us clearly to know our Creator, to worship Him sincerely through both ritual and character, to treat His creation with kindness, to use our unique gifts, however ordinary they may seem, for good, and to prepare every single day for the meeting that awaits us all. You do not need fame to live a life of purpose. You do not need wealth. You do not need the approval of people who will forget. You, the moment you're no longer useful to them. You're no longer useful to them. You need sincerity. You need consistency. You need the willingness to start today, not someday. So tonight, when you go home, I want you to do one simple thing. Sit for 5 minutes in silence and ask yourself honestly, what is one small change I can make tomorrow that will bring me closer to living with purpose? It doesn't have to be huge. It could be as small as calling a parent you've neglected, or waking up 10 minutes earlier to pray with more presence, or simply resolving to speak more gently to those around you. Purpose is built one sincere moment at a time. It is not a destination you arrive at. It is a direction you choose to walk in every single day for the rest of your life. May we all be among those who understood why we were created and who lived and left this world with that purpose fulfilled. Jazakumullahu khairan.